All right, folks, Michael Cohen back here with you on the Sports Talk Nation as we are getting ready for the NFL season because all the rosters are now set. 53-man rosters, practice squads are all set as we are now 10 days. At the time of the recording here, we are 10 days away, folks, from opening day. It is hard to believe, and it's kind of exciting that we are getting closer and closer to the NFL season. We're not going to do predictions today. We're not going to do predictions in this video, but that'll be coming up later this weekend. We'll be doing picks, schedule picks, both the Jets and the Giants. We'll talk about more in depth and about expectations for this season. But with the 53-man rosters now set, you kind of see where these teams are going to be going, where the focus will be as we get set for this upcoming season. Let's just start here with the Jets. Obviously, the big story is they're going to roll with two quarterbacks. Tyrod Taylor going to be the backup quarterback. Tyrod Taylor was still a bit of a question mark, and even here, Rich Cimini posting this afternoon on a Wednesday afternoon that Tyrod Taylor was not out practicing with the Jets because of his knee. So this is the gamble the Jets are taking as they go into this regular season. Yes, Justin Fields is your starting quarterback, no question about it, but there's a lot of question about the backup quarterback situation. The Jets are keeping Brady Cook, not on the roster, but on the practice squad. But do you really feel comfortable with, let's say, Brady Cook being your backup? That's why I thought with the Giants releasing Tommy DeVito, I thought that would be a great guy for the Jets to go out there and try to pick up to be the backup quarterback for this team. I know Mike White, former Jet for a couple of years ago, was released by the Buffalo Bills. I thought that was the guy that the Jets could pursue to be a backup in case Tyrod Taylor isn't ready to go come opening day. I think this is becoming a bit of a story now because as we get closer and closer to the season and Tyrod Taylor is not ready to go, if he's not ready to go, to be the backup to Justin Fields, this could be a big concern, and we'll see how the Jets try to address this situation right now at the backup quarterback position. Obviously, DeVito is off the table because he was claimed by the Patriots. He'll certainly be a part of their practice squad, I would imagine. So he is off the table, unfortunately, for New York. But I thought he would have been a guy that you could have quickly signed. Local kid. Had some magic with the Giants a couple years ago. Didn't play too badly. I'm not sure. Maybe they just feel very confident that Tyrod Taylor will be ready to be the backup quarterback come opening day in about a week and a half. We'll see. But it's something to keep an eye on as we move closer towards the regular season. As far as wide receiver is concerned, a lot of people brought this up about the Jets making cuts to wide receiver because the team is still looking for a number two receiver. They cut Jamal Pritchard, who a lot of people thought should have made the team. Quentin Skinner, a lot of people thought he should have made the team over, let's say, Xavier Gibson and Brandon Smith. All three of those guys are not going anywhere. They're on the practice squad here for the start of the 2025 season. And it's good to see Skinner on the team still, even in the practice squad. 114 yards receiving in the summer in preseason. He was very impressive. Also a guy that in case things do go south with Xavier Gibson, you can just make that switch and move on from there. Malachi Corley, another big storyline also from the Jets roster trimming got cut, ended up getting picked up by the Browns for their practice squad. Malachi Corley, who was drafted in the second round last year by Joe Douglas, just did not work out. Only had 3 catches. His most infamous play, of course, is when he fumbled the ball at the goal line against the Houston Texans last year. I know a lot of fans are killing Joe Douglas over the last couple of days because saying, hey, remember that pick by Joe Douglas? He was a terrible GM. But nobody was killing that pick at the time of that pick. I remember people were praising the pick of Malachi Corley at the time. So, hey, look, when you make these picks of players in the draft, you're betting on the potential. And Malachi Corley had a lot of potential. Could have been a guy with a lot of speed. Guy could have been a change of pace player on special teams. Maybe a slot guy. It did not work out. It's up to the player to make that happen, to take the potential and show it on the field. Unfortunately for Malachi Corley, he did not do that. And I think a lot of the criticism of Joe Douglas, and you can make a lot of criticism at him for his tenure, that is not fair. And keep in mind, he's also the same guy that did give you Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall. He gave you Jermaine Johnson. He gave you a lot of good players as well. So, also a couple of players that the Jets picked up on the waiver that are also garnering a lot of attention. The Jets pick up a couple of guys who were released by the Kansas City Chiefs, in Cam Jones, linebacker from Indiana, Asa Poe, tackle from the Kansas City Chiefs, and tight end Jelani Woods, formerly of the Indianapolis Colts. All three of these guys are very interesting, especially Poe and Woods. The Jets may have gotten a steal when they got picked up Asa Poe, who was cut by the Kansas City Chiefs. In fact, a lot of people who are Chiefs fans have been wondering, what the heck were the Chiefs thinking, letting this guy go? Why? Because in preseason, out of 46 snaps, he was a tackle. He didn't give up any quarterback pressures. He didn't give up any sacks. This guy is a steal, and you add him to the depth of this roster, this offense, that it has the potential to be huge for this New York Jets team. The Jets, when they made their 53-man roster, had at the time a total of 10 offensive linemen. Now you add Poe to the mix. That's just going to make this offensive line that much better and much deeper. That could end up being a steal for the Jets. We'll see how that plays out. As far as the tight end from the Indianapolis Colts, and that was Jelani Woods, he's interesting, but he hasn't played in a couple of years. He's had a lot of injuries over the last couple of years, but 6'7", 250-pound tight end. He had 25 catches for 312 yards and 3 touchdowns his rookie year in 2022. So he showed potential. But again, injuries have hampered it last couple of years and prevented him from being on the field the last 2 years. We'll see this is going to affect the Jets' depth at tight end because they started off with 3 tight ends, with of course Mason Taylor, the kid they drafted out of LSU this year, Jeremy Ruckert, who a lot of people thought could have been cut in camp this year. He had a really rough summer, and then Stone Smart. We'll see what this means for Ruckert and Smart as far as having Jelani Woods now on part of the roster. But that's going to be a very interesting addition to this team. So the Jets, coming into the year, we know what they're going to be about. They're going to be about running the football, right? It's going to be about trying to see a lot of Brees Hall, a lot of Braylon Allen, going to be a lot of Isaiah Davis, and also Andrew Beck, who is going to be a part of this team on this roster. Guy can be a bit of a fullback, kind of a change at fullback, can run a little bit, also play a little bit of tight end. He'll be an interesting addition. That all trying to set up for Justin Fields, who we know much better runner, more consistent runner than a passer, at least early in his career. We'll see what the Jets can do to try to open up this offense. That's going to be the key moving forward. Can this Jets team open up this offense? A lot of questions, even with the changes the Jets made as far as bringing guys back to the practice squad. A lot of questions about this Jet depth at wide receiver outside of Garrett Wilson. We know that you're going to have Alan Lazard there possibly being the number 2 guy, but are the Jets going to find a way to get another guy in here before the start of the regular season in 10 days? We'll have to wait and see. That's going to be the big question, because if you're just going through the season as is, Garrett Wilson easily going to get doubled up in coverage and could make things very tough for Justin Fields. Defensively, I think it's the Jets' strength. Adding Joan Briggs and Harrison Phillips to this rotation at defensive tackle is going to be huge for them. Both of those guys were very good. Phillips had, of course, very good numbers over the last couple of years with the Minnesota Vikings. Last year, with 2 sacks, one of them, of course, against Aaron Rodgers, ironically, with the Jets when they were playing that game in England, and a forced fumble. He has 8 career sacks throughout his career, does Harrison Phillips. 148 tackles. So you add him to the rotation at defensive tackle with guys like Quinnen Williams and Will McDonald, of course, at defensive end. Michael Clemens still on the roster, of course. That was a kind of a surprise for me as well to see Michael Clemens still here, considering how he has a tendency to get into trouble as far as penalties and stupid penalties on the field, as we saw earlier in the summer in that Green Bay game. But the Jet depth at defense, especially defensive line, is very solid. Linebacker and secondary also, they're very deep as well. That's going to be the Jets' strength. It's going to be their defense. The offense is still kind of a work in progress. As far as the Giants are concerned, They are now set. Obviously, with DeVito now off the team, they're going to have 3 quarterbacks in the roster. We all know who they are. Of course, Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and then the kid Jackson Dart. The question for the Giants is going to be, I'm going to talk about this more in my next video when I break down their schedule, is when is Jackson Dart going to get the opportunity to play? It's all about him and his development. I think for the Giants, ideally they want Russell Wilson to go out there and play well and keep them in the postseason mix. They have a lot of talented players. The Giants' strength is going to be their defense. They're very deep up front. Obviously, Dexter Lawrence leading the way there. Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau coming off the edge. Bobby Okereke, they're a middle linebacker. The Giants are very deep defensively. The question is going to be their offense. The question is going to be the offensive line, which has been a real problem for the Giants the last couple of years. They, too, like the Jets, have 10 offensive linemen on the active roster going forward to start the season. And one more thing before we go here, folks. This, of course, look, I understand why teams do this. It's all about the marketing. It's all about money. And it's all about trying to sell products, right? But why? Why do these teams, and it's not just the NFL, but we see this in Major League Baseball, and certainly in the National Basketball Association as well. Why do these teams roll out these ridiculous alternate uniforms? Can someone explain that to me? I'm looking at this right now. Okay, the NFL rivalry uniforms have just been leaked online. These are so ridiculous. Look at that. Look how stupid it is. It looks like it's something out of the XFL. Oh my God. The Miami Dolphins wearing black with teal numerals. And then here is that the Bills, all white with silver? What the heck? Who comes up with this? And then you get the Jets with this chrome, I guess it's green. I don't know, it doesn't even look green to me. It looks gray. Like a chrome gray alternate uniform. What is this with this gothic looking? It looks like you remember the New York, New Jersey. What was that XFL team that came out a couple of years ago when they went defunct? What was the Guardians? That's what they look like. They look like the New York Guardians of the XFL. Look at this. This is crap. This is terrible. I mean, if you're going to roll out alternate uniforms, I love when they rolled out the throwback uniform, which used to be their regular uniform for 20 years. Certainly when they brought that back, the road jersey last year, bring back the home set if you're going to do a rivalry weekend. I mean, bring back the green alternate home uniforms, the classic home uniform. Oh, my God. At least the Giants get it right. Look at them. The Giants going to get this right. They're wearing their road throwbacks twice, and they're wearing their home throwbacks, 80s, 90s uniforms twice, 4 times this year. They get it right. Why can't anybody else do this right? Go back to what works. Go back to the classics. They roll out these ridiculous-looking uniforms. Oh, my God, I'm so sick of it. Anyway, that's my rant. We'll talk to you next time right here on the Sports Talk Nation with predictions right here.